Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I made it. But let me get straight to it. Thank you so much, Seneca. I appreciate the opportunity, man. All right. All right. It's time to break these walls down. I said it's time to break these walls down. Now, behind these walls, there's a war going on. We got stuck in between behind the scenes and we're all alone, fighting and waiting for that special someone to come and set us free so that we can be not me, but you, and not you, but me, ready to let the whole world see the real me, the real you, and let them know that there's nobody like you, not even a few. You are one of a kind. Can nobody come in to expose your own mind? Please listen. Can nobody read what you have not yet written? Can nobody finish your own sentence? Please listen, because it's time to break these walls down. Greetings. My name is Lawrence Washington Jr., also known as Mr. Optimistic, and I am here to encourage you. Now, I've spent about over 10 years of my life on stage doing inspirational poetry in prisons and churches and weddings and youth gatherings, community events and talent shows, all because of adversity. I was so afraid to speak in front of people as a little boy that every time I stood up in front of somebody, my left leg would shake so bad that I would have to stand on my right leg to keep from falling. But I hated being afraid because I wanted to motivate people and make them feel good. So I forced myself on stage in high school to perform my first poem because adversity became an adventure. That's what we're talking about today. But first, before we even get started, what is adversity? What is it? Simply difficulties, challenges, obstacles in every area of life. What is adventure? I'm going to define adventure in just a few words. It's an unusual and exciting experience. So let me share with you all three principles that will help you transform adversity into an adventure. I have applied these principles to all of my life's obstacles, from being afraid to speak in front of people to surviving the Flint Water Crisis with me, my wife, and my 6 children, and to life in a pandemic. So principle number 1 is this: you can transform adversity into an adventure when you decide to focus on what you want in the face of adversity. If you are cold, you will focus on wanting a blanket, right? If you're sick, you will focus on wanting some sleep or some medicine or a doctor. When I was too afraid to speak in front of people, I focused more on my passion to motivate others. And during the Flint Water Crisis, with me, my wife, and my 6 children, I focused on teaching my children how to handle a crisis with an optimistic attitude. See, when you focus on what you want in the face of adversity, your actions will follow. And that includes your words. Just like if you focus on wanting a blanket, right? You will go get one. And if you focus on wanting a doctor, you will eventually get up and go to the doctor. And just like when I was a boy, I focused on wanting to motivate people so much that I literally forced myself on stage in high school to read my first poem in front of my entire class. And I continued to do it over and over again for over 10 years of my life. I focus on maintaining an optimistic attitude during a life-altering water crisis with me, my wife, and my 6 children, so much that my wife and I developed a system within our household that has caused my children to actually, they cause my children to have fun and exciting stories to share about the Flint Water Crisis. You see, when I focus on what I wanted, my actions follow. When my actions follow, that's when adversity transformed into an adventure, an unusual and exciting experience. It is an unusual and exciting experience when we discover a better version of ourselves. Adversity is what's necessary to expose our own greatness. Why do people who scream of terror on a roller coaster, right, choose to ride on a roller coaster? For an unusual and exciting experience. Why do women, I can say this because, my wife has 6 children, so why do women have multiple children knowing the pain that they will have to face? For an unusual and exciting experience. Why did I choose to focus on overcoming depression and dealing with thoughts of giving up after the death of my own mother 4 years ago? For an unusual and exciting experience, which was discovering the strength and the tenacity I've always had to share my story and helping others overcome as well, which allows me to continue her legacy of love and action. You see, life is all about experience, my friend. It's all about experience. Everything we do it for the experience. We want to experience fun, so we go to a show, to a movie. You can choose your experience by what you choose to focus on. Let me say that one more time. You can choose your experience by what you choose to focus on. I've talked to and served many people from all different walks of life, and I discovered that we all want to experience joy, love, happiness, peace, and fulfillment. We want to experience becoming a better version of ourselves. What greater joy is there than unlocking your hidden potential? I'm gonna say that one more time. What greater joy is there than unlocking your own hidden potential? Whenever we decide to focus on what we want in the face of adversity, our actions will follow. And we will have an unusual and exciting experience discovering the greatness that is trapped on the inside of all of us. So as I go closer to my end, let me share with you all a story about a little girl. This is a little girl that I had the privilege to serve during my 15 years of serving the at-risk youth dealing with childhood trauma. And this little girl was about 11 years old. And due to the trauma she had to endure, she was physically aggressive whenever she was angry. So whenever she got angry, she immediately tried to attack staff. And at that time, she was known through paperwork, through her behavior plan, she was known to only calm down after being physically restrained by the staff. Yes, you heard that right. She and the staff was convinced that she did not have the ability to calm down unless she was physically restrained. Well, because I was determined for her to have an unusual and exciting experience, I wanted her to discover her ability to calm down without being physically restrained. So one day, when she became angry and physically aggressive toward staff, I stepped in the way of her and the staff, and I became her target. So for 10 minutes, Although at the time it seemed like 30 minutes. But for 10 minutes, she chased me around the campus parking lot outside. I blocked her punches, her kicks the entire time until she finally stopped and she fell to her knees. And she let out a loud scream. And she cried. And eventually, she calmed down. And that's when I seized the opportunity to bend down, make eye contact, and I softly stated to her, I said, now you know you can calm down on your own. And she looked at me with a look of enlightenment and gave me a high five as she embraced the proud look I gave her. For she finally had an unusual but exciting experience after discovering her own hidden potential. So why am I sharing that with you all? Okay, I want to end with this. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that if you decide to stay focused on the solution you want in the face of adversity, your actions will follow. And you will transform your adversity into an adventure by becoming a better version of yourself. You don't know what's in you. Allow adversity to help you grow, develop, and be greater than you can imagine right now in the face of adversity, in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of heartache, in the midst of trials. All you got to do is keep pushing, keep overcoming, and you will continue to have an unusual and exciting experience. Check this out. During every difficult time. My name is Lawrence Washington Jr., also known as Mr. Optimistic, and I'm always here to encourage you. Thank you so much, Seneca. I appreciate you. Any questions? I'm here.
Hey, Lawrence, you got a hand raised over there just to help
Let me
you
see.
out.
Let me see. Orlin. Yes, sir.
Hi. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I get it all the time. I just want to thank you for your presentation. I really love that story about the kid coming to a realization that she could calm herself down. So my question is for you, because how do you get yourself to stay motivated? Because I know a lot of encouragers, motivational speakers, a lot of people don't know that one of my favorite quotes from our community is encouragers need encouraging. So when you're like on the grind and like speaking at so many different places, how do you stay strong in that optimism?
Well, what I did was I saturated myself, meaning that I surrounded myself with like-minded people. I intentionally, for years, I'm talking about, this has been, for me to be the person that I am today, I just give credit to the years and years of me feeding myself with motivational information, with information that keeps me, moving forward with people that are like-minded. I intentionally engage in or have engaged in many different conversations that is about, purpose, that is about, moving forward, that's about doing things better. So I believe that as human beings, we have the ability to program ourselves to actually become a certain person. Just like there's a negative person, right? when I see someone who's negative, I just see someone who has just been programmed to think a certain way. And when I see that person, I know that they can be reprogrammed. So as human beings, I know that all it takes is for us to just continuing to feed ourselves, because just like, eating, you become what you eat. So the reason why I didn't give up after my mom died 4 years ago, although I felt like giving up, although I was dealing with depression, I was dealing with suicidal thoughts, I was just dealing with those feelings, right? But by that time, I've already had programmed myself to fight through it, right? I've already programmed myself to speak the opposite of what I was feeling. So I think it all has to do with just knowing who you are as a human being, and just knowing that you can be programmed to stay motivated if you continue to saturate yourself with, with information and with people. It's all about the environment and the atmosphere. It will cause you to become that person. So I'm not just, acting like I'm motivated. I am that person. That's who I am. So like when I come around people, now they're motivated. So yeah, good question. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Most definitely. Anybody else? Thank you all so much for showing up. Seneca, man, I appreciate you, brother. Who's that? Look, Latoya, you got your hand up?
These people. Are you asking for questions, Mr. Washington?
Yes, sir.
Can we hear another poem?
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
You funny. No problem. All right, we got another poem. This poem, I'm just gonna do the first part of this poem because of time. But this is a poem that I actually wrote when I was in college, and I had just gave my life to Christ, and I was just struggling with just, being selfish. I was very selfish back in college, and I was struggling to just be. This is my book, Seneca. This is a free copy. So this is a gift. All right, it's a gift. So but this poem came to me in a dream. I had a dream, and I woke up and I just started writing. All right. It's called Kill I. Kill I just simply means, the less you think about yourself, the more you do for others. Life is not all about you, it's about serving others. So that's the whole concept behind that name. I came up with that name when I was younger, so. Close your eyes and realize the disguise of a trap, waiting to capture you into the pits of failure and distress. Go ahead and confess your weakness to the strongest, kindest, most powerful, brightest, and most loving spirit. And open your ears, for when he speaks, you are able to hear him. Come out from behind those invisible curtains and fulfill your purpose, man. You see, these are the words addressed to I on my life's journey. I am constantly reminded of how blinded I have become. God is waiting for I to die because I can't reside in his kingdom. Not by Satan, but I am blinded by I. You see, my eyes must be closed. But God has allowed me to understand that I am the one he has chose. Clothes do not define I. Doors cannot continue to slide open if I continue to live life just hoping to reach him up high. Read more of his word must I. Let him dwell in me must I. And do his will willingly must I. And fall to my knees and ask the Lord to help me please. Help me please. Help me please must I. And discard the phrase when things get hard. Lord, why me? Lord, why me? Lord, why me must I? While he sits back inside, knowing that it is not him, but it is I, the guy who walks side by side without fighting I, because he is too busy using his own useless might and falls and cries after he realized that he is weak without me and strong without I. You see, it's time for I to die and the lamp to be lit inside, because without I, there is no pride. Without I, there is no weakness but meekness. No wicked desires, no path leading to the fire, no hesitation for praise and veneration. Without I, there is no hypocrisy. Life is no mystery, and misery is history. Without I, there is no confusion, and being delivered from all my sins is no longer a delusion. So no more will I resist the feeding of my soul, the word of God that makes me whole. And behold, a bold mentality, for the reality of the Most High is as real as the blue sky. So no more words are there to say to I, but bye-bye. Because I am now a new guy who has only one goal in life, which is to live by the word and die by the word, with God on my side. All because I want to meet him high in the sky. So I say to I, bye-bye. Yes, I say to I, bye-bye. And I say to I, bye-bye. And I lift up holy hands with much faith, knowing that even if he don't do it for me, I know he can. And I is banned from my holy temple. And I lift up holy hands with thanksgiving for allowing me to close my eyes and realize the disguise of a trap, waiting to capture me into the pits of failure and distress. I have confessed my weakness to the strongest, kindest, most powerful, brightest, and most loving spirit. And my ears are now open, for when he speaks, I am able to hear him. I came out from behind those invisible curtains, and I am ready to fulfill my purpose. So therefore, I lift up holy hands. Why? Because I have finally died. Today, but tomorrow I must die again. It's a daily walk. Thank you so much, Seneca. I appreciate it, man. I looked at the time. I figured I'd just do the whole thing.
Hey, you good, bro? I appreciate that poem. You know, I remember it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All
man,
right,
you said
bro.
when I wrote it.
Hey, be blessed, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for listening. I hope you all were able to pull something away. And remember to keep going and keep moving forward no matter what. And get around people that is echoing those same words. Mike Lewis, what's up, bro?